I do a lot of editing online, and I make a lot of content, and I consume content. And what I did for a while was, I know some things that's on TV or that's on social media, it might not appear that it's real. So things that I thought that were so unbelievable on social media, I just started asking women that I know certain questions that I saw on social media. And many of the views that are on social media are shared by women in the everyday life and everyday reality. So the reason I'm doing this video is because I keep seeing a lot of women that that are sexually desirable, but for some reason, women in today's society think that because they can attract a lot of men that will want them sexually, that's like a flex. Like that's a flex because men want to sleep with women. That's really not a flex. It's in our biological nature to be attracted to women, and especially in a society that is promoting promiscuity and women that is giving her sexuality to everybody. That's not really a flex. I want women to understand what it sounds like to men. Like sexual chemistry or sexual desire doesn't translate to long-term relationship. It doesn't translate to love. It doesn't even translate to men thinking that the woman is good. It just means that, men like easy access to sex. And if you as a woman are accustomed to men wanting to have sexual access to you, then you are almost at a disadvantage because you know, it convolutes your ideas of why you think that a man is being attracted to you. Now, let's get to the meat and butter, the bread and butter. So, why did I say a woman, bragging about a man wanting to have sex with her is like a man bragging about a woman that wants to use him for his money? Like, if a man that was wealthy, that was on social media, and he was like, oh man, these women want me because I'm rich. That's why they want me. And it's like a man that knows women only want him for his money, but then he says, well, even though women only want me for my money, and I'm only able to attract women because of my finances, whenever I'm ready, I could go and find a good partner. How if a man is only using his if a man has finances, if he's only been using his finances, if he leads with his wallet and all he talks about is how much money he's going to spend and this and that, then of course, all the women are going to use the man because that's what he's putting out. If he's putting out that he's easy and he's easily able to give up his resources without commitment, then of course women are going to exploit that. But that is exactly the gender reciprocal of a woman that is building her self-esteem based off of how many guys want to have sex with her. Like, guys, depending on where we're at in our life, depending on how long we've been without having sex, yeah, that's not a flex. That's not a flex. It's simply not a flex because, if ain't nobody looking, we clapping cheeks. Every dude can clap some cheeks of a chick he would never deal with. But women don't do that. Like, if a woman that has sex with a man that she really doesn't like just for money, that's a different type of woman. That's not a marriage-minded type of lady. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just not the same. But I see so many videos online, like it's ridiculous. I see a lot of videos online, and every woman that is beautiful, and a lot of these women are beautiful. They're not bad-looking women or nothing like that, but sometimes, like men, we like a variety. So yes, we sleep with women that we would not deal with. We sleep with women that we would never take serious. The same way that women will go, man that for sex is like a woman who lowers her standard for a date. A foodie call for a woman to is equal to a man having a situationship. There's not a lot that a woman that is not attracted. If a man is attracted to a woman and she is not attracted to him, no matter how many foodie dates he takes her out on, it's not going to translate to attraction. And it is the same thing with a man who sees you as nothing more than a situationship. No matter how many times you situate with him, it's not going to translate into love. Or if he does, quote unquote, get into a relationship with you, it's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be a sustainable relationship. It's just not. The same way that women go on foodie dates with men and have no intention on being serious is the same way that men that casually sleep women have no intention on being serious. That's why I say it's not really a flex for a woman that is overly sexual. It's not a flex for a woman that's loose with her sexuality to get sex from a man. But the problem is when a woman is used to enticing men with sexuality, she thinks that because she always has the sexual attention of a man, that she has the power to translate sexual attention to long-term love. She thinks that she is more powerful than God. Even a genie, even in all the genie movies, the genies tell you can wish for whatever you want, but I can't make somebody love you. That's the same thing. Vagina will make men do a lot of things, but only a weak man will allow himself to be manipulated by vagina. And a lot of us men, we're weak at times in our lives, but as we get older, we become accustomed to life, or I just keep it frank. Men get older and we have less testosterone. We care a little bit less about sex. When men get older and care less about sex, that's when women have to do more to keep a man's attention. Because once a man is over a certain age and he doesn't care about sex the way that he used to, he cares more about cooperation. He cares more about a woman that's going to be down for what he, on his program. So again, imagine a man that's rich and that walks around bragging that women only want him for his money. And if a man walks around bragging because women only desire him financially, and somebody says to him, well, why are you so proud that women want you financially? And he says, well, I'm proud because whenever I'm ready for a woman to want me for more than my finances, then I'm going to go get that. How? If you've spent your entire life allowing yourself to be used for money, or your only value, or the only way you're attractive to a woman is financially, not in leadership, not in style. It's not sustainable. If that's the only thing that a man have is to be attractive financially, that's nearly equivalent to a woman that all she has is her sexuality. You can't solely build a relationship off of a woman's sexuality. And men, we can't solely we can't build foundations of relationship based off of how a woman pleases us sexually. That's such a minute part of a relationship. Long-term relationships aren't sustained with good sex. Good sex is not a prerequisite for a good relationship, unfortunately. I would probably argue that the better the sex, probably the worse that the relationship is for the long term. And unfortunately, as men, the same way women can't have it all, we can't have it all. See, it's impossible for us to have a good woman that is super duper good in bed, a good wholesome woman that's not out there in the streets. But then you can't expect a woman that's wholesome, that's not out there in the streets, to just be doing all these extraordinary things in the bedroom. Because women that are doing extraordinary things in the bedroom have got a lot of practice. So if you want a wholesome woman, the fact that you would think of the idea of having like this mind-blowing sexual encounters with a person that is not as conservative sexually is ridiculous. It's the same way how a woman would think that a man that makes hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's handsome, that's over 6 foot, that is well endowed, that he's going to be faithful. Why would a man be faithful if he is less than 0.1% of the population and the most beautiful women are throwing themselves at him? And if the most beautiful women are throwing themselves at a man that is less than 1% of all of the population, then I have to ask, if all you're doing to secure that man that everybody wants is simply showing up and looking pretty, what do you expect? How do you expect a man that is getting the most beautiful women in the world throwing themselves at him for only because of his genetics, not because of who he is as a person, what he's done, what he's accomplished, simply because of his genetics? If all women are throwing themselves at him, then what is his incentive? He has no reason to be faithful. He has no reason to be monogamous because the women are throwing themselves. And it's the same kind of way with women. If women are getting all of this sexual attention when they pose half naked online, then what is the reason for them to be monogamous? That's the only thing that doesn't make sense. Women that get a lot of attention online from dressing scantily clad, they are the ones that still want relationships. A lot of men that are able to get women in their will don't necessarily want relationships because they don't need relationships because they can get loving anytime they want. So it goes back to, again, a woman who is bragging about men wanting her sexually is like a man who is bragging that women solely want him for his finances. Imagine that man that is bragging and being boastful that women want to use him for money. You go, how could you take pride in women wanting to just use you for your money and exploit you? Well, how can a woman take pride because a multitude of men want to exploit her sexually? They don't want to keep her, they just want to experience her. I mean, and the sad part is, women think that they can translate or transform a man that just wants her sexually to a man that wants her for longevity. And that's not how it works. What'll happen is, that's when babies come into play, and these children aren't made out of love. They're made out of strategy, the dating strategy to keep this man locked up and locked in. Like, it's bananas. So men should not take pride in women wanting them solely for their finances, and women should not take pride or take self-esteem or think that she could translate many men who want her sexually to one man that will want her for longevity.